52 Republicans pen a letter to the ATF putting them on notice about their backdoor gun registry that they're forming. If you want to know more about this one, sit by and watch this episode of Guns and Gadgets. Today's video is sponsored by LAS Concealment. LAS Concealment makes a variety of different styles of Kydex holsters and mag carriers, including some exclusive prints from Daddy Plaid himself. They have a bunch of different options, different styles for different firearms, with or without a light. You can add wedges and stuff like that. Check them out down below at lasconcealment.com. Link will be in the pinned comment too. This is the time of year where people often get great deals on new firearms and they all need a place to reside. So check out lasconcealment.com down below. And I need two myself because I just built two new pew-pews. So thank you for sponsoring today's video, LAS Concealment. And let's get on to this story. 52 House Republicans have sent a letter to the ATF putting them on notice and demanding that they respond to several demands regarding this backdoor gun control, this backdoor gun registry that they've been forming for some time. I did a video a couple weeks ago, pinned above, about how GOA discovered the amount of records that they had obtained from firearms FFLs that had gone out of business. Thus, the ATF becomes the owner of those files, those records, and they have been digitizing them so that they can keep a record of them. You know, that's illegal. It's a registry. So here's the letter sent to Marvin Richardson, who's still the acting director of the ATF, and it says, Congress enacted a prohibition on the creation of a federal gun registry that could allow the government to target American citizens who own guns. We are concerned that this administration is leveraging its power in a way to establish a federal gun registry. Moreover, we are opposed to a recent proposed regulation that would require federal firearms licensees, FFLs, to facilitate the creation of a federal gun registry. And for those who are wondering, that's the proposed rule on the redefining of a frame or receiver that we all commented on. According to recently published documents, the ATF has collected 54.7 million records in fiscal year 2021 alone. That's the stuff the GOA got via FOIA request. It is an outrage that the federal government would maintain such extensive records of law-abiding citizens' law-abiding firearms transfers. Indeed, current regulations require FFLs to send firearm transaction records to the ATF when an FFL goes out of business. However, Congress has also made it clear in the Firearm Owners Protection Act that the federal government shall not create a federal gun registry and has prohibited ATF from creating any centralized databases with its funding. For decades, FFLs have only been required to maintain firearm transaction records for 20 years, after which they can be destroyed. Many gun owners value the privacy afforded by the destruction of these records of their law-abiding firearm transfers after this period. However, the administration's proposed rulemaking, ATF 2021-R-05, would require FFLs to preserve all firearm transaction records. This means that 100% of all lawful commercial firearm transfers would eventually end up in the ATF computer system, thereby creating a permanent database. This gives us serious cause for concern that the Biden administration is intent on creating a federal gun registry by circumventing the legislative process. In fact, a Government Accountability Office report from 2016 was titled, ATF did not always comply with the Appropriations Act restriction and should better adhere to its policies. I'll have a link to that down below if you want to read it. With that in mind, we have several questions for which we would like written responses. How many records does the ATF's out-of-business record center have in total? How many of these records have been processed into digitalized format? How many firearms traces using these records were essential to the successful prosecution of a violent criminal in the last 3 years? In the case of each successful prosecution of a violent criminal, in what year was the essential firearm transfer record completed? 18 U.S.C. Section 926 prohibits any system of registration of firearms, firearms owners, or firearms transactions or dispositions from being established. Explain in detail how the out-of-business record center policy combined with proposed rule change in ATF 2021-R-05 does not violate the statutory restriction on a federal gun or gun owner registry. It is critical that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives does not use its power to encroach on the privacy of gun owners and restrict their Second Amendment rights. Please provide a written response to the questions above no later than December 31st, 2021. I'll quickly throw the pictures of those people who have signed this letter. You can pause it if you want to find out if your member of Congress is there. Another question I have actually is, why did it take this group or any group this long? This should have been addressed during the comment period when ATF was looking to put this on our laps. So I'm glad they're speaking up, but it's only 52 of these people instead of, there's still over 300 of them in the House that didn't really care enough to put their name on here. So let me know what you think down below. It's absolutely happening. There's no question in my mind that the ATF is absolutely creating a federal registration of gun owners and transactions and stuff like that. And when you think about how many gun stores go out of business that they don't stay open for 20 years, then they kind of have like every freaking transaction, every freaking gun owner, and it's very concerning. With that, I thank you for your time. I ask you to consider subscribing to Guns and Gadgets. This is where you get all the news of the Second Amendment, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, no matter where it happens in this great country. Until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, carry a gun to keep you, your friends, your family, your community safe. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.